Humans were a feared race in space. Their technology had eclipsed that of many other races. Although they had never fought a war against other races and otherwise kept to themselves, no civilization had ever attempted to be hostile toward them. Instead, their past, and the way they waged cruel wars against each other, gave every race the impression that it was better to leave them alone. For a long time, we thought that they would eliminate any intruder on their planet within a very short time, but we were at an impasse. When the Davians conquered our home planet, enslaved our people, and murdered them one by one, only one spaceship was able to escape in time. In the end, we were the last 600 of our people, seriously injured and desperately searching for help. But no race would grant us entry. They didn't want to risk getting involved in the conflict with the Davians. Finally, our fuel ran out, and there was only one planet we could reach: Earth, the home of humans. We knew that without fuel we would die anyway, and that we had nothing to lose. We might as well try to make contact with the humans. We sent our distress signals, but no one answered. Finally, we had no choice but to land on Earth. We were afraid, assuming that the humans would wipe us off the face of the planet at any moment. And when we saw the first shock troops marching toward our ship, we had already given up on life. Our ship had no fuel. We couldn't even open the gates. There was a loud explosion, and the human soldiers marched into the ship and pointed their weapons at us. Suddenly, one of the soldiers said something in a language we didn't understand. They lowered their weapons. They came toward us. I was afraid when the human soldier stood in front of me. He looked at me, saw my injuries, and lifted me up. We were smaller than the humans. He said something to the other soldiers who were also carrying some of us. They took us away and brought us to buildings they called hospitals. There, our injuries were treated. We were given food and cared for. Then we were taken to accommodations. One of the generals approached me. I was the ship's captain, and thus also the highest-ranking person, even though that was no longer of any great significance, given the destruction of our people. He sat down opposite me, and had a device with him. It was a translator that allowed us to communicate with each other. He asked me what had happened to us. I first thanked him for all the help we had received from the human race and began to tell him our story. I told him how our planet had been attacked, about the conflict with the Davians, and that we were the last survivors of our race. He listened attentively, and wrote everything down. Then he said, "I understand. Don't worry. You're safe here. From now on we'll take care of things. Stay here as long as you want." I was both relieved and confused. Relieved that the humans were helping us, even though everyone had warned us about them. They were completely different from what we had thought. But what did he mean by saying they would take care of things? We spent months on Earth. Slowly we regained our strength. The humans even helped us repair our ship and filled it with fuel. On the day of our departure, as we were thanking the humans, the human general approached me with a serious expression on his face. He said, "You can return to your planet. The Davian problem has been taken care of." Then he smirked. "And I don't think they'll bother you again." We looked at each other in confusion, but took note of what he said. When we arrived at our home planet, there was no sign of the Davian spaceships. Only a few destroyed spaceship parts with the Davian logo were flying around in the atmosphere. We approached the surface and there was no sign of the Davians. We later learned that the humans had destroyed them. And apparently not just those who had attacked our planet, but the entire race. Nothing remained of their home planet. That was many years ago, and we have now been able to rebuild our civilization to a certain extent. And now we can only hope that the humans will continue to be well disposed toward us. They were friendly and helped us, and yet we fear them. And as we now know, not without reason.